Hey guys, Alan Sarge. I'm going to call this video Reparation Justice, and I'll explain it to you as we go. There was a young black man in Florida, I believe it was Florida. You can go over to the Black Conservative Perspectives channel. He has the story, all the details. But there was a black young man broke into a 59-year-old woman's home, a white 59-year-old woman's home. Tied her up and stabbed her to death. They charged and arrested the young man off DNA evidence. So he was put in jail. Well, while they were in court with his attorney, who was arguing that the death penalty had to come off the table because they went past the 45-day notification. While he was arguing that point, this young man escapes from the courthouse. Now, he didn't just run out the door. He had another inmate block the cameras while he used his cuff key to get out of his restraints. He had a fake police officer's uniform, and his two cousins and his girlfriend were waiting outside in the car to effect his escape. This led to a week-long manhunt, and they finally caught him. So he's back in custody. Finally, it goes to trial. They go through the hearing, all the evidence is presented, and they turn it over to the jury. The jury deliberates. The judge instructs them that there's either murder or manslaughter. The jury comes out. The jury foreperson reads the verdict, guilty of manslaughter. The judge looks at her and says, "Is that the jury's decision?" She looked at him and looked at the court clerk and said, "No." It ended up being a mistrial. Now here's the kicker. When she was interviewed, the jury person said the reason she did that was because they settled for manslaughter. The other jurors, a couple of the other jurors, said they could not stand the thought of sending another black man to prison. They didn't say because the evidence wasn't there. They didn't say that the state didn't prove their case. They said they couldn't stand sending another black man to prison. That is reparation justice. You know, you have to stop and think about it. If that was your mother, your grandmother, your daughter, tied to a chair, stabbed to death. Now that woman knew, and she felt, at least, that first time the object penetrated her body. She felt the pain and the terror. She knew she was dying. She may have felt every stab. She knew the terror. She felt it. And these people in this jury said they simply could not stand putting another black man in prison. Nothing about the evidence, nothing about the strength of the case, nothing about the overwhelming job that the defense attorney did. It was simply they could not stand the thought of putting another black man in prison. That's reparation justice. So I guess if your mother or your daughter or your sister or your wife are tied to a chair and stabbed to death, and it's a black guy that does it, you owed him that. You owed him that. You and she had that coming. Could not stand putting another black man in prison. Reparation justice. Like I said, guys, I'm over it. But as always, that's just my opinion. You can take it with a grain of salt. It's Alan Sarge. I'm over it.